You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Rays podcast. Okay. Hello and welcome into a new episode of the Locked On Rays podcast. My name is Ulises Sambrano, and on behalf of Kevin Weiss, we are the hosts of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. You can go ahead and click that subscribe button right now and that like button, and it can help us reach even more Rays fans like yourselves. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Now, as you can tell, if you're on YouTube and on audio only, I am all by my lonesome, and there is a reason for that. And if you stick around to the last segment of the show, you will get a reason why. But let's start today with a little bit of a downer, or what could be a downer, or maybe nothing. So Taj Bradley was scratched yesterday from his start on Tuesday. He was a late scratch. It was told that he had pectoral tightness, so that he had to go and get an MRI. To the point of this recording, we have not had any discussions on what the result of the MRI came out. Now, we've all known how these operate within baseball. MRIs come back rather quickly to them. It's pretty amazing. So they already know what's going on, and so it'll take a little bit of time to filter that information out to the public. But, not gonna lie, maybe this is like PTSD-ish from so many Tommy John surgeries that the Rays pitchers have had lately, that when I heard pectoral tightness and not elbow and not shoulder, whew, right? Guys, I'm not the only one, right? Like, yeah, it sucks, pectoral tightness. Like, it sucks for him and what that could mean and all that, but I was glad I didn't hear shoulder. I was glad I didn't hear elbow, because that's a whole nother type of injury that we are way too familiar with, and knock it off injury bug with the elbow and the shoulder. So that was my first perspective or take on it. It's just like I'm glad it wasn't something worse like the shoulder and elbow, but it's still obviously something that could hamper his availability at the start of the season. Why? Because obviously with ramping up, if you need not a good chunk of innings, but you need to be out there if you're a pitcher to try to get your pitch count up, your stamina up, your ups and downs. That all matters, and that's why spring training is very important for pitchers, to ramp up slowly, gradually. So by the point that we are in, I don't think if he misses any extended amount of time, he's not going to make it to opening day. I've already made the case sometimes that he could be fighting for that fifth spot with other guys in the organization. So it wasn't like he was a lock, at least in my book, that he was a lock to be in the rotation. I think he was fighting for a spot, and he had a good chance to take it. But with this injury, it does seem kind of like we could be seeing him miss opening day. I did a little bit of research because pectoral tightness is not something that is usual to see a pitcher, or rather an MLB player, deal with. So I did some Google searching in the Google box, pectoral tightness, MRI, MLB. Literally all Taj Bradley. All Taj. Until I found this 2017 injury by Seattle's James Paxton back then. He had won 7 straight games. And boom, they had to take him out because he had a pectoral strain. He hurt himself on an August 11th start in 2017. And when you look at his game logs, he came back to pitch on September 15th after spending some time on the IL. So this guy in the middle of the season was out for about a month. So, and by the way, just I know this doesn't have anything to do with Bradley, but when he came back, when Paxton came back, it wasn't pretty. 10 and a third innings pitched, 14 hits, 8 runs. They were hitting him at a 311 clip. So not good for Paxton there. That doesn't mean that it would be the same for Taj, but just, adding color to the story. So a month in the middle of the season that he missed. So would that mean that it's the same if you're at the start of camp? Did they catch it early? Is it precautionary? These are things that we don't know yet, but hopefully it's something that, can be dealt with. And if it is something like the pectoral strain that James Paxton suffered in 2017, and it's a month, I think we would all take that right now. No injury is great to hear, but it does seem kind of like the most overreacting people are on social media when a pitcher gets injured. Oh my God. It's like, injuries are going to happen, people. It sucks. Of course they suck. Of course they do. But we can't live in a world where we expect pitchers who are throwing 100 miles an hour, 93 mile an hour sliders to not get hurt, right? Like we understand that's not a regular throwing motion for a human being. That's why we're seeing these things. It's them being told, hey, go nuts for as long as you can without nasty, filthy stuff. Yeah, injuries are going to happen. So that's just something that catches my attention. It's the behavior on social media. And then you have to remind yourself, social media isn't real. And, that's a real thing. So who could take a spot? Let's talk about that. That is right. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. I am sure that Kevin is just dying to use PrizePicks this whole month, okay? And I want you guys to know PrizePicks offers a really neat thing, which is injury insurance, so that your entries stay in play even if one of your player gets injured. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection will not count against you, and the rest of your entry stays alive. So today, download the app and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. You heard me right. And I will say it again. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, this is fantastic. So again, download, use code LOCKEDONMLB, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. PrizePicks. I feel like within the organization, you have 2 candidates to be stretched out in Chris Devenski and Tyler Alexander. For those that don't remember, Tyler Alexander, lefty that we got from the Tigers. Chris Devenski, apparently the most high leverage reliever that Kevin Cash and company thought to bring out in a 2-0 game with a man on first and second on wild card game 1. They decided he was the highest leverage option there. I know some analytics people are going to be like, that's not actually high leverage. All right, call it whatever it is. It ain't a low leverage, that's for sure. It's the playoffs. Backs are against the wall. Not that I'm salty about it 6 months later. Chris Devenski is an option to get stretched out as well as Tyler Alexander, but you also have Naoyuki Uwasawa, who hasn't had the greatest spring training, but like we have said many times, spring training results, spring training stats, throw that all out of the window. The record, throw that out the window. It doesn't matter. There is no correlation between how a pitcher or a position player is hitting or pitching in spring training and what that means for them during the regular season. No correlation whatsoever. Maybe a little bit of confidence. It'd be nice if you're doing well, right? Because then you feel good about the prospect of the upcoming season. Sure, there's a human element to that. But, just because you win the Grapefruit League does not mean that you're going to win the World Series or be a pennant-chasing team. It doesn't mean that at all. I've also seen Rid Brainiac hit 5 dingers in spring training and Sean Rodriguez or Elliot Johnson. One of those 3 guys had like 5 home runs in one spring training. Pretty sure. I also said Rid Brainiac was going to be better than Derek Jeter. So, you've got that on my bag. We all have those. So, Uwasawa, Devenski, Alexander, they can all step up to fill that role that Taj is leaving there. Now, Jacob Lopez could also be an option. Mason Montgomery. I don't see Mason Montgomery too high on that list, though. I think they would rather just get the MLB guys that have that experience to be stretched out. The Tyler Alexander and Devenski. I think they're honestly above Uwasawa right now because of that MLB experience. I think that they really would rather push somebody that already has that in their back pocket, that experience. It's less to deal with. But those are the names I could come up with. I know that until Trevor Bauer is playing somewhere else and not a free agent, the name is going to keep coming up. I think Kevin and I have made our points that the Rays would never hire Trevor Bauer. They would never do that. And they're not the only ones. Remember, there are 29 other teams that are also saying, no, thank you. No, thank you, fam. We don't want that. Not only because of the noise of the sexual assault allegations and all the open cases that I still believe that he has. I think there's like one more case that's still pending. People like to focus on the one that came out and with the video and all that. It's not the only one. There are more allegations out there, and I think there is one more open court case. So why would you put your hand on the fire if you're an MLB team with that hanging over your head? That makes no sense. And if he has to miss some time because of some legal court duties, like, so what? Now you're in the same problem. You don't have a pitcher. So I don't understand this push for Trevor Bauer. And besides that, he was already kind of a bad clubhouse guy, it seemed. Didn't he miss a World Series start or a playoff start because he was playing with a drone? Like that, the maturity level, people, not there. And then you can say, well, that was, 7 years ago. All right, fine. Does it look like he's matured? You can have that opinion. I can have my opinion. But just making the point, I don't think the Rays would go that route. And I think it's certainly not, they're not certainly alone. Because, again, 29 other teams are saying the same thing. And really, what could you expect from Trevor Bauer? It's not like he was the Cy Young Award winner in the Japanese league, right? So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that this guy is the best ever and then not perform at a league that the people that say that Trevor Bauer would be a great option for their team, they don't really speak highly of the Japanese league, do they? So if Trevor Bauer is not killing it in the Japanese league, you guys following me? Yeah, I think so. So that's all I wanted to say about Trevor Bauer. This is not as bad as it could have been. So I'm happy about that. And you know what else I'm happy about? I am happy that we have recorded an interview with a Rays top prospect. And it really, we came out of it feeling so good, Kevin and I. We did it this week, and I will tell you why we did it this week in a little bit. But I just came out of it, of the interview, just elated, because the guy was as jovial, as talkative, as open, as candid, as honest, transparent, funny, intelligent as you would want a prospect to be. We talked a little bit about baseball, but we talked a little about life as well. We kept it light, and we had a great time. And that interview will be coming out on Thursday. And we hope you enjoy it. We will put it on the playlist on YouTube with our player and personalities playlist. So you can find it there. You can listen to the other ones that we've done or watched on YouTube. And I think you're going to really enjoy this one. Now, I'm not going to give anything else away because I think you guys I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't know if you guys are the type of people that go to movies without really knowing anything. I used to watch so many trailers and so many behind the scenes stuff. And basically when you got into the movie, boom, you already seen the movie. So what's the point? I don't do that anymore. So I'm hoping you guys are that latter option. And I will say not a lick more of that. But it was really enjoyable. And I think you guys are really going to dig what he had to say and, how he behaves. And it was great. It was really, really great to have him on the show. Hopefully we will have him next time as well. Now, to finalize the show, Kevin and I are going to opening day, and we're going to be using Game Time because Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives us complete peace of mind when we purchase tickets. Now, that can be theater, comedy, basketball, baseball, whatever you want, Game Time is going to have it. And the best thing that I like about it is that you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And Kevin also likes to maybe arrive a little bit later. Well, guess what? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. So today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Key West updates. My buddy Kevin, you can follow his personal Instagram. You can follow my personal Instagram. And you will see what we will be doing in Key West. We will be dressed to the nines. No, Stu Sternberg might not go. But Kevin Weiss is getting married. Kevin Weiss is getting married. And it's going to be in Key West. And so we just want to take a little bit of time, at least I do, to wish him the best. Congratulations. I will obviously say this to his face as soon as I see him and his bride. And so that's what we're doing. We're kind of shuffling things around because Kevin is getting married this week. And it'll be fun. I haven't gone to Key West in a while, so it should be loads of fun. I was thinking, how can I tie in Kevin's marriage to a baseball podcast? And then I thought, what's the best Rays marriage between, either a front office act, a player, whatever, with the Rays organization. And the best thing that I could come up with, and you guys can, agree or disagree in the comments below. I know it's not hired by them because it's a TV, it's Bally Sports, Sun Sports, and all that. But just for the sake of argument, the Rays organization as an entity and Dwayne Stats. I think that has been the most productive and the most perfect, long-standing marriage. Anybody, a player, any, it's Dwayne Stats and the Rays org. I mean, he has been the only play-by-play guy since 1998. He's been there through it all. We have seen him now for 25, 26 years. And, I think he means a lot to Tampa Bay Rays fans, to what he has, taught us. He's taught me so much about baseball too. You learn so much from play-by-play guys. We've talked about that with Dave Wills, Andy Fried, Solons. And Dwayne is, a class of his own. I think he's so classy. He lets the game breathe. He has really good stories. He has a sense of humor that is sneaky at times. He is very witty, and at the same time, he's aware that he has all these qualities, but he lets other people shine, which is such a terrific quality for a play-by-play person, because they could just stand on the mic and just talk all 3 hours, right? And he doesn't do that. And if I can go even further on the marriage thing, another really good marriage and another really good productive marriage has been that of Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson. Brian, I think, began in 2010 as a part-time caller commentary, and has been the mainstay, I think, since 2011. So, you have your Kevin Burkhardt and your oh God, I forget, Kevin Kennedy, Joe McGrain, I think, was the one before that. But for me, it's been BA and Dwayne, who really have been such a great duo for Rays fandom. I think you think back at the Todd Callis days and all the late night with the Rays stuff that they came up with, and Callis in the hot tub in I think it was Texas or Arizona. That little fight, that little tiff that they had, BA and Dwayne, and then the hug in the Oakland Coliseum. Those are really good memories. So, I just wanted to tie it in. Might not be the best tie-in for marriage, but I thought that was kind of a good way to look at it. It was, it's been long-standing, and we've all enjoyed it thoroughly. And with this, we have to enjoy every day that Dwayne Stats is the play-by-play guy with the Rays, because you never know when he might call it quits. He might retire. And so just like we have to enjoy every day with Dwayne being the play-by-play guy, I hope that Kevin and Stacy enjoy each other every day with their company, and that their marriage is full of happiness and good things and success and all of the good things. Oh, health. That's number one. Hope that marriage has a lot of health. You get older, and that's what you think it's the most necessary priority thing. Number one, health. So I wish them health as well, and all of the good things. So if you wouldn't mind, if you've reached this monologue, end of the monologue, and you're still here with me on YouTube, I thank you. And the last thing I would ask is for you to drop down a comment and say, hey, congratulations, Kevin. And I hope that, people can flood the comments there with good vibes for Kevin and us in Key West, and everything goes well. And again, if you guys follow us on Instagram, you will see those updates as they happen. I'll try to keep my feed on my stories pretty lively during Key West. So without further ado, we will have that interview for Thursday's episode. It'll be great. You guys are going to love it. Friday, we're taking off, obvi. And we will be back with you, both of us, on Monday for Monday's episode. So, again, flood the comments for our buddy Kevin. Wish him the best. Wish him health, whatever you want to wish him. And you guys stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.